Have you ever looked at a satellite photo and just wondered, how could an AI possibly make sense of all that? Well, today we're diving into a brand new framework that's teaching machines to think less like a computer and more like a human analyst, breaking down huge problems one step at a time. Let's get into it. Take a look at this. It's a single satellite photo, but it is packed with complex details. So how does an AI go from just this picture to writing a full-on intelligence report? The secret, it turns out, is to get it to copy the one thing that can already do this: a human brain. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the big problem AIs are facing right now. Then we'll get into this new way of thinking called VICoT. We're going to look under the hood, see it in action, figure out how they're shrinking it down for the real world, and then wrap up with why this is such a big deal. So first up, what is this AI analyst's dilemma? Well, it boils down to something pretty simple. Just being able to see what's in a picture isn't going to cut it anymore. You see, the whole field has moved way past just asking an AI, hey, is that a ship? Now we need answers to way more complex questions. We're asking, okay, what kind of ship is that? What's its hull number? And based on that, what's its likely mission? The problem is, today's AI models just weren't built to think that deeply. And here are the specific roadblocks. The most powerful AIs are absolutely massive, way too big to stick on a satellite or a drone. They burn through an incredible amount of computing power. And maybe worst of all, their reasoning is a total black box. We get an answer, but we have no idea how it got there. And if you can't trust the steps, you can't build a reliable analysis. So to solve this, researchers basically went back to the drawing board. They took a hard look at the best analyst out there, a human being. And that led to a totally new way for an AI to, well, think. And this is it. It's called VICoT, which stands for Vision-Interleaved Chain-of-Thought. The whole idea is to get the AI to think like a person by creating a logical chain of thoughts. But the real magic is that word interleaved. It means that at any point in its thinking process, the AI can pause, grab a visual tool to look closer at the image, and then feed that new insight right back into its train of thought. So how does it keep track of all this without getting totally lost in its own thoughts? Let's look inside something called the reasoning stack. You can basically think of it as the AI's own digital desk. This slide really shows you just how brilliant the new approach is. The old way was honestly kind of dumb. For every single new step, it had to reread the entire history of its analysis. It was incredibly slow, super expensive, and you'd lose the logical trail in all that noise. But VICoT's reasoning stack is so much smarter. Each thought is a new layer. The AI only has to look at the very top layer to decide what to do next. It's massively more efficient, and it keeps a perfect, auditable record of its logic right underneath. And here is a look under the hood. You've got the think module, that's the brain, the large language model doing all the reasoning. Then you have the vision module, which is like its set of eyes or a powerful magnifying glass. They work together picking tools from a toolbox like object detection or image enhancement and adding new layers of thought to that reasoning stack. Okay, theory is great, but let's see how this thing actually performs in the wild. We're going back to that first image, which we now know is the USS Midway aircraft carrier. So let's follow its logic. First, VICoT gets a general description. That thought leads it to use an object detection tool. Then, it decides it needs a closer look, so it zooms in and enhances an area to read the whole number, 41. After identifying the planes on deck, it uses the term CV41 to do a quick web search and confirms the ship's identity, the USS Midway. Then, finally, it pulls everything together from its reasoning stack and generates a perfect structured report. It's just a clean, logical flow, from start to finish. And here you can see that whole transparent process we just walked through, from the initial image to the final report. This is only possible because the AI has this powerful and flexible toolkit. It can do anything from removing clouds to deblurring motion or enhancing resolution, picking exactly the right tool for the right job at the right time. So this is amazing, right? We have a powerful, human-like AI analyst. But remember that first problem? These models are usually gigantic. So how do you get this incredible power out of the lab and actually into the field where it's needed? The solution is this really clever process called reasoning stack distillation. You basically take a massive, super powerful teacher AI, think something like GPT-4o, and have it solve thousands of these problems. It generates perfect, step-by-step reasoning stacks. Then you use all those perfect examples to train a much, much smaller and more efficient student model. You're essentially distilling all that complex knowledge into a tiny package. And the results are, frankly, stunning. First off, it slashes token consumption by 65%. Tokens are basically the currency that AIs use to think. Every step costs something. This means it's doing the same complex job for about a third of the computational price. It's also dramatically faster. We're talking a nearly 50% reduction in the time it takes to get an answer. In a real-world scenario where every single second counts, that is an absolute game changer. And here is the real payoff. After all that distillation, the powerful student model is only 12 gigabytes. Now that is small enough to actually run on what we call edge devices. Think satellites, drones, or laptops in the field, where memory and power are extremely limited. So, what does this all add up to? What does this really mean for the future of automated analysis? All right, let's recap the breakthroughs. VICo lets an AI reason through complex problems just like a person would. Its reasoning stack makes that process super efficient and totally transparent. The modular tools give it flexibility, and distillation packs all that power into a tiny footprint. The bottom line? You get an AI analyst that is not only way more accurate, but also dramatically cheaper and faster to run. And this is maybe the most important takeaway. As the researchers themselves point out, the real magic isn't just about having a bigger, more powerful AI brain. The incredible gains in performance, they come from the smart design of the framework itself, the logic of the reasoning stack. It's all about working smarter, not just harder. And this all leads us to a final, really provocative thought. We are heading towards a future where this kind of sophisticated, transparent reasoning isn't stuck in a huge data center. So what becomes possible when every camera, every sensor, every drone in the sky has an expert analyst built right inside? The possibilities are, well, they're truly transformative.